All right, all right. Welcome, welcome. It is almost 7 p.m. We're actually a little bit early tonight, almost 7 p.m. on the East Coast. So we are coming live with Jon McCaig, the founder of Liberty Aid Academy, and our question and answer period every week live. Here we are. And tonight's show is called Helicopter Money. It is coming. I very concerned with all my friends. The markets are crazy. Everything is upside down. Things are not getting better. I don't know. It's all over the place, all over the map. But I know, John, you've said it before. Helicopter money will come back, and they'll come in to swoop and save the day. So let's figure out how we can get our hands on that and maximize what's coming. So very exciting. How are you, John? And how's things? How's what's the big news of the week?
Great. Tim Judge, co-host here, and thanks for being here. Excellent realtor, father, doing this work a long time successfully. It's great to just hear from him and his own story.
Yeah.
That could be like every Thursday, like really. And same could be said of so many people doing this work. Honestly, it's just like all the shows we've done and all the testimonials. It's really become incredible, like an incredible body work, like for America, maybe, I don't know, some of the most important video work ever done, really, because no one is out there pushing, to learn the hidden technology that's available to everyone. Financial, hey, how are the wealthy doing this, by the way? They're
Yeah.
obviously getting over on us, but how are they doing it? And can we do it too? That's all. I'm an accountant. So doing this a long time, and everyone, they come to this work, they're like, oh my God, this can't be real. I'm so hidden. But no, I've been doing it forever. And that's why I go live on Thursday. It's just, I've answered every question. Every question has been asked. It's nice when people come on and ask. It's great, to keep the shows interesting. But I just come on here to be like, hey, yeah, no, everything is still fine. That's pretty much the show. A lot of good information, but you can watch past shows and really learn everything. I've said it all. But it's good to have you and these people coming in here, Alex and everyone coming in.
Frank from North Texas, in the house there, and Alex, yes, of course. And we've got people piling in the room, so please make sure you just throw a question up, or maybe an update, a status, a win. Maybe somebody opened an account or got their first EIN. Whatever you've been working on, struggling with, anything like that at all, just throw it up there, and we can have a chat about it.
Yeah.
But the title. Let's dive a little deeper into helicopter money and how does one maximize their potential receiving underneath that helicopter?
Isn't it so funny that I did success? I'm like that Burry guy that predicted, hey, invest here
Yeah.
and the market's gonna drop. Like, I'm like that guy. I'm the one that said, get your credit together. And the helicopter money came and the people got it, and myself included. I told everyone before COVID that, not that there was gonna be COVID, but there would be an event and that you could get your money. And everyone really that did just the most basic stuff. And I mean, just registered as Secretary of State. Someone did it. Only that, no credit, nothing. Just a Secretary of State. And they did the approval for 150 G's. What? That's a lot of money. It used to be way more money than
Yeah.
it is now. It used to be like, you could buy a house, not the best, but I mean, you could. Right before helicopter money, before it happened, before the feeding frenzy of here's a giant sums of cash on just so many people. And then that's when, real estate, everything, the price of everything went crazy when they just dumped bushel baskets of money. And it's like, hey, the economy's great.
Yeah.
Thanks for the heroin. You know what? I feel fantastic, actually.
But
Do you have
but
more of that heroin?
it's so false though. That's why you have to buy. You were also saying buy gold, which gold
Yes.
has doubled since the helicopter money came out and everything like that. That's a real world asset that you know, is very tangible today. And the fact that everybody's house did not get more expensive. The dollar became worth less because
Yes.
passing them out. So everybody feels good. Oh, I got money in my pocket, but your money was not worth the same
No,
amount as it
no,
was the year
it's
before. So, but you definitely have to get and nobody wants worthless money. But if they're giving it away, you got to take it, and you got to get the most of it as you
well,
can.
these are
And
2
then,
separate things. These are 2
yeah,
separate things. We're talking about, protecting asset value is, having them with no mortgages and stuff like that. Even with a mortgage, if it's a decent rate, if you're just like, I gotta live somewhere,
yep,
okay, that's fine. And then, it's gonna appreciate because of what we're talking about. In the end, the only way to keep the economy going and growing growing means the amount of dollars in the system is growing, nothing else. They're just like, well, just create more dollars, and that goes to the GDP of that year because that's the year we created those dollars, and we'll just put it on the tab. Who, Oh, it's fine. You want to print money? Fine, fine. I don't see how you owe it though. Like, to whom?
yeah,
Who's getting these interest payments of $1 trillion or whatever every year? That's what's sucking the existence out of existence is those interest payments to the hidden cabal that is purchasing through their hedge fund frontmen all the real estate and making everything more expensive. They Every time they do, hey, we're going to release money, we get a pittance, and they get you know,
yeah,
billions, billions. But we need the pittance. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not like them. Hey, I need 10 more giant commercial real estate thingies, you know what I mean, to get that yacht I want. Whatever. None of us are like, we're like, it'd be great if I had a house that I didn't have to pay for somewhere in my lifetime. That's kind of what anybody is, trying to do. So these hacks of how to do this are super important. Every little thing that happens with this trust builds up so that, okay, we could get, closer to, not having to pay for real estate and just having less on our shoulders. So they don't come up with new methods. So they came up with an event. Hey, I don't know, let's go with plague, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And then it's like shut down everything and let's destroy the economy and then create a need for helicopter ready to stimulate. Let's create a reason. Well, we have to stimulate the economy. We'll just print more money. And that's what they did. So asset value, like prices, not value, as you pointed out, but prices because there are more dollars chasing everything, just went up. Hey, real estate costs more. Oh, that's great. Not if you're buying it. It's like,
yeah,
yep. So that's what it's a hedge against the inflation of the minute. You know what I mean? They don't pull out, hey, here's a new method. No, they're gonna be like, uh, how do they get people to do what they want? Give them money. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's it. We're gonna print money, and if we need anything done, we're gonna give people money, and they're gonna do it. And that's it. Thanks for not rising up, revolting, and realizing you're slaves of the bankers, and that we stole all the land and make you pay for it. Thanks, for being our slaves. They're like, you know what? The slaves don't like being slaves right now, so they give them money, and the slaves calm down for a while. That's what they're doing. They create these chaotic situations. What's their, you know, slogan, order out of chaos. Well, they
Mhm.
create the chaos. It's never real. And then they're like, you need us. And then let's print some money. Everybody, is that okay with you? Everybody's like, yeah, but the other stuff you're doing is not okay, but we'll take the money. So you can't get rid of them and their system and their hijinks and their horrible stuff, but you can prepare for what they're going to do is pay us off, or at least pay off the people in the know. Like I talked to somebody last time for the helicopter money. He worked at Apple,
Right.
and he's one of them, and He didn't go to college and works as an engineer at Apple, and like is one of their top ones. It's like, yeah, you know something from more lifetimes than one, right? Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but he just admitted to me, he's like, you're right about that whole uh PPP and all that money. He's like, he said everybody working at Apple got a text and like what to do. Go ahead and open up a LLC, and like they were just given instructions to get prepared to get the money. All the
Right.
employees of Apple, yeah, for example. So the ones, at least the ones in the know, you know what I mean? The ones running things, they all know to do all these things ahead of time. Their life is so easy street. They know the plan on the stock market. They know the goal is going up. They know all that in advance. We don't know. I'm admitting it. I don't know I'm not one of them. Okay. But I can see how they operate. I'm an accountant. Okay. I'm an auditor, trained auditor, did businesses like, government entities and stuff like that. I would like check your books, what you doing, tour the place. Let me see if you're lying to me. I was trained to do that. And so now I'm like, they're all up to something. So I was like, "What are you up to?" And I just figured out what they were up to and did it for us. So like, okay, you all are getting ready for money. Okay, let's us get ready too. How to build a credit profile for your trust or LLC or whatever. Prepare for this. They're gonna do it. So get ready for the money.
Yep. Absolutely. Um, and I think we have to have our friend now, Mr. Poe on, because Alan,
Alan,
right?
yeah.
Because he is a crypto expert, and they're trying to move, our paper money that they keep printing into digital money. They want to move that way, and I'm sure that part of the credit, part of the helicopter money is going to be like, oh, take some of this, federal crypto cash, a stable coin from the government. They're going to try and convert that to people into that system. So we should have him come on and talk a little bit. I know a little bit, but I know he knows more, and
Well,
it'd
Alan
be
has
interesting.
talked about it. He freely admits he doesn't know the script either. You know what I'm saying? Like Dill was smarter than Alan that I'm ever going to meet, probably. He is incredibly gifted at technique and
Yeah,
technical ability. Oh my God. And Bitcoin super requires that, so that's
yeah.
where can go deep. But as far as an investment vehicle is, no. How do you know? Like, there's no way to know.
Well,
Uh,
I don't know about investing it, but well, you can cash in and out of it. But what I'm saying is that they're gonna start passing it out that way. They want you in that system, right? They want, because they can track it better. They can't track cash, right? Or your gold coins that you order, those Liberty coins. You can't track them, right? You can take them, bury them in your yard or whatever, and do what you want with them. They can't track that, but the crypto, they can watch where that comes and goes, and they're gonna like that. That's the part of the system they like.
Yeah, yeah, but change into a system like that where it's super practical and stuff hasn't really happened. Like El Salvador tried it, it's not like and then it spread to everywhere. Like that didn't happen. That's why Alan, you're like, hey, where's the smartest guy ever? You have to. You're talking about something that's not very useful on the day to day. People are using dollars, the Swiss system. We're not using yuan here. We're not
Right.
using the BRICS system. We're just using the $1 system, and they really try to keep our options limited. Okay, here are the gold coins. So, they do keep an eye on things like dollars have RFID chips, so they have readers everywhere, so they know where the dollars are.
That's true. That's true. Um, Reina's in the house. Do you recommend renting or buying? I think we know from where you're sitting what you recommend.
Right. It's situational. It really is. Just be honest, because let's say to most people buying a house, I would say uh, if you know exactly where you want to be for an extended period of time into the future, this is the place. You already know it. You already live there. You know what street you want to be on. You know exactly where you want to be. And you're waiting for one of these houses in a certain area. You can afford it. You know, this is where I live life. All my friends are here, whatever it is. If you know that, then buying could make sense for you. You know, then you get into the finances of the situation for you individually, but it's something you can afford like that. That can make sense. It can. But man, if you got to move, like the purchase of something is just so hard to come up with the money, this to do it, and then you got all these fees up front and stuff like that. When you can sell your real estate for more, plus all the fees, plus your interest, plus you know what I mean, like it's not necessarily a great investment vehicle. It's very difficult to sell at certain times. Easy to sell, so easy-ish to sell sometimes, but sometimes very difficult. So it's not really the best investment. Is very not liquid, So it's really more important for me is if you know exactly where you want to be, works for you, you could afford it and stuff like that. Yes, it can. It can for those people look into it. And that's how I got into it too, situational. And also I'm trying to do this approval for real estate tax exemption. Thereby, I can help so many people if I could get it and then it top down. So situational for my situation, I can help many people. So that's a situation. So now outside of that situation, uh, there are just so many. Let's just take run of the mill. Now, most people are generally going to be kind of in the area where they know what they want to be. So maybe a purchase can make sense at some certain point. But rents are, I don't know, like there's a lot more real estate, it seems, in so many places, and there are people to fill it, whether they're purchasing or renting. Not in every market, but wider across USA. So again, situational. In the South, definitely rents are dropping. In the North, they're just not building a whole lot of stuff up there. So in certain situations,
Mhm.
it's not like, hey, rent's way cheaper. So it's situational, but generally, uh, it can be cheaper now in certain areas to rent. And you could just pick up and leave, too. You could be like, oh, okay, you owe extra month of rent, or like they're ways to get out of leases. There's no way to get out. Hey, let me just get out of ownership, and you got to get the money. Like you're not invested in a rental. You can move, you can go. Situation happens to your family. I got to go here. I got to go. My mother's ill. I got to go help her in her house. I got to move there. Like they're that if you would purchase the last year, like, what are you going to do? If you're renting, you're so much more flexible in your life. Uh, and that, and so much less at risk in the non liquid asset category. You could invest in, like, I often, recommend cash is great, but also in a trust and maybe at your place too, but also US minted gold coins if you can't afford gold, silver, depending on where you are. But they're so easy to just go down to the pawn dealer. Here you go. What are you giving? Cash only. Thank you. Bye. That day. That day. It's not like selling real estate. Although gold or silver is actually real estate condensed. So it is portable land. So it has the same value, based on this very specific, type of it, but it's valuable everywhere. It holds value no matter where, if you're here or in a new regime. The USA is gone. Gold still valuable. Real estate can change value too. It's like they whatever. There's a chemical spill and we can't drink the water here. Things can happen in certain I own real estate. Things can happen. So there's risk there. Whereas rent, it's like, hey, this thing happened to the city and we drove away and didn't lose anything. We're renting. So you have to weigh this. If you're okay, I only know I'm going to be here working this out for a year. Rent, you know what I mean? That's the
Right.
easy one. you know. So that's sort of a scale of where you are to make a decision in your life. I need this school district. Oh, I can't afford that school. Well, I got rent over here. There are different things that are in different people's situation that really matter to them more than some other ones. So you look at your situation. These are the most important. You list them out. This is the most important. Okay, do we really, like, for me, I want to be near the beach, like there are certain things for you that matter for your health, for your family, for your day to day, for your job, all the things. And then you're like, okay, well, does it make sense to rent? And you put the numbers down on a piece of paper. Does it make sense to rent or does it make sense to buy? Like, what's our situation? We got the down payment, no problem. I got $1 million in cash laying around. What am I going to do with this? I only need a house, right? It depends on your situation completely. But I think that's a way to look at it. Write them down, a list, weigh it up. You don't want to overextend yourself in either direction. You want peace of mind when you go to sleep. So, good question, Raina. I'll touch on the main points there, but if you have any more questions, follow up. Thank you for that.
I've got some other things coming in. Just I'll tell you what I do when I'm talking to real estate people. If you're just like you were saying, if you have to be mobile, if you got a situation where you're going to be moving, then you have to be renting because it's easy and whatever. But for round numbers, if your rent is around here, $2,000 is pretty easy. So you're at $24,000 a year, right? So after 2 years, that's $50,000. If you were to buy something and lose $50,000, it'd be just like you were renting, right? Because you're renting, you're throwing away that rent money. You're making a landlord rich. That's what that's about.
And you're throwing away if you buy a house too for the first 10 years.
Right. Well, that's on interest, but you get deductions and all this kind of stuff, and you have the potential to make it back. And of course, you're planting roots and doing whatever you're doing because you're going to be staying there for 10 years, right? You're invested in it, and that's why they call it your investment.
Yes.
But if you don't have to be mobile, then if you're thinking about renting, you're just throwing that money away. And so even if you had to move, something changed, you said, okay, I'm going to buy this place, and in 2 years you had to go, you would think, okay, I'm buying and it's costing me a little more, or almost the same, but I'm getting tax write-offs and all this other kind of stuff you're tried to set up. But if you have to move and you lose $50,000, you would have lost $50,000 renting also.
Yeah, but there is a tax write-off for us, so that there's nothing there. And like I was saying, if you look at the amortization chart, you're not paying any principal of any noteworthy amount for a decade. If you're going to pay your mortgage, you're pissing away every mortgage payment you make. So everything, it doesn't go to anything. It's just like rent or mortgage, the same, goes nowhere, does nothing. So that's why I say if rent's, hey, it's a lot cheaper, you could save some money and then not have a mortgage is the goal,
Right.
That is, hey, that's affordable, So I'm saying sometimes it can make sense to get into a situation of rent. I was in a mobile home for a decade on purpose with, the monthly thing was $525 when I moved in there. So I saved money. The rent went nowhere, but so would have, buying a place. I waited till I had money and to get the real estate. So I'm not going to get crushed on interest payments and mortgage payments. Like, that's the way I chose to do it. And it's a good life that way. Like everything was fine in life, and now I can afford it. I'm not beholden to the bankers or whoever. So I miss what they were saying.
I think Alex is just trying to agree with you here, and he's saying preach it, and he's thinking about it and all that stuff. Let's go back to this other one Raina came back with. What are your thoughts on tax groups doing 1099As, Bs? Is the process working, or is it another scam?
Scam. I've actually done. How badly should I tell myself? What's my body count of 1099s? I've easily attempted that 50 times. You know what I mean? Every method I can find, and also as a trained accountant, logically working through what might work or something like that totally doesn't work. No one has no proof. But what a great segue into the number one school in the USA, Liberty Aid Academy, because we have testimonials. It's, by the way, it's not part of our curriculum. You have to do a testimonial and then you graduate. Some schools do that. They do, like Sunbury Valley, like you have to do a testimonial or you don't graduate. That's their actually one school requirement. Clever marketers. Kudos to you, Sunbury Valley. But that doesn't count because it's a requirement. The testimonials we have here are not required. People did it because their life changed.
Yeah.
Miraculously. I have to I have to tell people what's going on here. So it's a great segue into they have no proof that those things work. What a great fairy tale, but it don't work. So that's why we always rate out. I'm just pointing out the main, measuring stick here is proof. My proof, I do, like I said, I put this real estate into a trust. I'm doing a real estate tax exemption. God, I do all the work here. I've been doing this for 15 years, and everyone else is doing it now too with proof. So that's the way we have to look at other methodologies and other things. Do they have 15 years of proof and 100 testimonials of proof? Because if the 1099 thing worked, I'm always like, so you could just do a house with a piece of paper with the IRS. Okay, so just actually send me your PDF of your 1,000 houses that you own. Like that's what hedge funds have. So maybe they know how to do it. So they could be doing that. No problem. Tell me how you do it and show me your real estate. Because what? You can get a house and piece of paper, you do it immediately. And you get 100 more. Okay. No. You see, look for their proof. So sadly,
Robertson House says, good evening, all. Do either of you hold any real estate in a Christian trust with the tax exemption? I think that's what you're working on exactly now. If you ever decide to sell that real estate, how would that work without a bank account? I've got 2 bank accounts for my trust. So
good questions. These are good questions. Let's do with the first one. The Poe family's testimonial is out there. You could go look at that. I super recommend it. Oh my God. We're just talking about Alan, but the whole family. I just because Alan's at the pinnacle of intellect, the other ones are at the pinnacle of intellect and heart is unbelievable. The Poe family, all of them, each one of them is staggeringly amazing. You should really go watch what they've done on theirs and their proof. So, and I am currently involved in that. I put up a video on the membership at YouTube. You can go watch it. It's a pretty good video. If you have any interest in doing a real estate tax exemption, I would go watch that video. Become a member for 1 month, and that's a part of it. There's a lot of other great stuff there, but in particular, I would go watch that if that's a real thing on your mind, you're interested in it. Because I go over so much that Alan worked on with me too. And anyway, it's great. Second question. If you ever decide to sell that real estate, how would that work without a bank account? This is the reason I recommend have a bank account with your Christian trust. If you get real estate, I recommend you do that, because what if you need a transaction, like you say, it needs to drop into the bank account? You need a bank account. So yeah, go get a bank account. Go get two separate banks. You already have a bank account for your first and last name trust at 2 at least banks. Yeah. So you just go over there and you get one for, the Christian one too, that you're going to hold real estate in. No biggie, and it's all the same place. Don't put $100 in it, whatever the minimum is, so you don't pay any fees, and that's it. It's sitting there in case of the situation you bring up, Robert, in case you need it for a transaction, right? Good question.
Now let me point of clarification for that. When you're doing the Christian trust and you start a bank account and you register it with the state, and your goal is to turn the real estate into a parsonage and all that stuff, it's the It's the bank account.
Hold on 1 second. You don't register with Secretary of State.
You don't register the Christian trust with the Secretary of the State,
No, no, no.
even if you want to build.
Get credit, so
You
you can
can't get
use
any credit.
no. You can use your first name, last name trust to get credit.
Yeah, but what?
Or your
but if
person.
you're right, but why couldn't your Christian trust get credit?
It could, but it could. It could. You can do that. You can register. You can do that. You can do
Right.
that. Yeah, you can do that.
And then well, what I also was getting at was that when you're building your credit, it actually starts once you start the bank account, right? Because I have a Christian trust that I have papered, but I haven't opened a bank account for it. So
Yeah, it really must start with the registration of the Secretary of State. That's really where
okay,
the credit profile would start because that's where you started the profile. That's when you started it. But
right,
that's really not the credit profile. That's just like when did it, when was it registered? But they ask when it started, but then they go look when it's registered.
right,
But really it needs a credit profile. It needs all the stuff. So
right,
uh, it needs all those things if you're going to get credit. And this is a really important topic. This topic of credit, that I handled it. I think it's really important what I did in this video on YouTube. Uh, I would go look at that one in the membership thing, but because I'm going to say stuff that just doesn't even seems miraculous, seems impossible. You signed up with God. This is a Christian hack.
right,
And if you think, there's no God, you shouldn't be signing up because all these miracles happen that are just off the charts in your favor. Uh, Not just one thing, it just keeps happening. All the financial hacks that I give you, yeah, they're miracles on their own. All put
right,
together, your life changes radically. But then when you do all that and set that up and learn about all the truth and everything, and now that's your life, you open up to a whole nother level of what's out there in reality. Because guess what? You sign a trust with God. You can be trusted. You can be trusted in your society. They track everything. There's no hidden anything. They know about these trusts. They know everything. So you sign up with God. Hey, you can trust me. You actually become trustworthy because I give you all the hidden information. And you have to you hold yourself accountable. I'm signed up with God, and you become exempted from so many things. And you get all these benefits like you know am I Illuminati now? No, you sign up with God, but you're just taking advantage of the hidden system that totally existed. I didn't know about trust, and they didn't have to pay. Yeah, they've been
yeah,
doing this the whole time. I just found out about it. I'm showing you how to do it. That's all. So these things are all available, have been available, no changes really, except for now we know and have the proof of how to do it. You see? So there's a whole nother that's why I'm saying go check on the membership thing, because I did get this real estate. I did get uh credit approved and all that stuff, no problem. And I really need to put it in the trust. So, hey, if you put it in your person, we can finance that. You have credit, you're putting down enough, equity is cool, all this, everything. Hey, we can give you the money. And then I was like, no, no, I can't. I'm Christian. Sorry, I can't put anything in my name. It's like, and I know it's a person, so I'm like, but I'm just saying, no, I take a uh, uh, what a vow of
poverty.
thank you. I'm coming up with poverty. Thank you. And so I have to have nothing. I have Acts 5 of the Bible. That's the technical functionality of this Christian trust. So you have to be like, oh, sorry, I can't do that. To the bankers, to the people that are going to lend, that run the entire world, by the way. You
Yeah,
think they don't know everything? And like, they lend the money. They're your slave owners. What? They know everything about their slaves, everything, everything.
Yeah.
So it did get approval, and I did say no. Then just I'm not going to go through with the transaction. I can't be. This was what I said in the contract. Hey, it has to go in this trust. That's the way I need to make the purchase. So if I can't get the lending in the name of the trust, well, okay, I haven't done it, so I don't know if they're going to do it. So they're like, yeah, we'll give you the money, but we will put it in the trust for conventional let. Oh, okay. Dang. So like, sorry, I can't do it. And the seller's agent comes back. It's like, I got you the money, no problem. Like, I beg your pardon? Yeah, no fees up front, nothing like that. Market rate, 15-year note, balloon 3. Uh, I got your private money, and they'll have the money there. The closing date doesn't have to change. We'll have it within a week, no problem. I'm like, it's my phone.
Yeah.
My phone sounds like it's having English coming out of it, but it don't sound like English I was expecting. Does this thing? What did you say? So you advance to another level of access to financing that is off the books, but exists. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
become trustworthy in a way that is hard to explain out there. But uh, if you could be trusted, and if you're handling your finances well, if you're handling your trust well, you know everything, you can access another level. Because I got to prove, like, the credit score was good, and like the transaction made sense. It was just they're like, oh, I don't know about putting that trust because you just signed up for it personally, but they wanted the transaction to go through, and they found private money, and it was no problem. I already paid it off and stuff. So it just made the transaction happen. And I was like, nope. And they're like, yep, it's gonna happen. I'm like, what? So
So just to
paperwork, mechanics, and all that stuff to answer that question, really, because that's what involved everything that you brought up, and it was a great question. Thank you for it. But that's why I made this super lengthy video about the property tax exemption here that I'm currently doing in every detail, because they asked for so many pieces of paper with it and all this stuff. So I can't imagine a more detailed response that I had to give. So wherever you are, get a super detailed, account of what you should be, how you should be doing it in every way, shape, or form. And that's through the transaction as well. You got to have the right transaction. It's got to be in the name. If you're going to apply for real estate taxes, you got to do it right the whole way through. So, including financing. So, this is a great question. And that's my real world experience with here's the paperwork that did this, here's that, all the proof. So, I do it. And I show the proof, of course.
And that's all inside the YouTube Liberty Aid Academy membership
Yeah,
program.
I really
That
recommend
link is in the
it.
chat.
It's just a lot of work for the people, but if you're doing this work, plus what's in there on building credit is every box, Anyway, it has a lot of other information in it, but in particular, that's the most recent, like, big, meaty video on that question. I recommend it highly to anyone.
Excellent. And yeah, the link is in the chat as well, so everybody can hit that up.
Jim. That's cool.
And then there was one more clarification question. We can also get business or corporate credit for the first name, last name trust. We were talking about the Christian trust, but you recommend using the first name, last name because it's all your ID is the same and all that stuff. That was basically why that should all be easier.
I do. I recommend building credit for that first, basically, because you got the ID. Because if you're entrepreneurial, I got a business or whatever, you're gonna run transactions through that. So isn't it so much easier to just use one trust with a credit, all operations through one trust, and then the Christian trust is basically just holding stuff. It's not operating. So you're separating operational risk from asset holding risk. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I would recommend building credit for first and last name trust for sure. If you're going to build credit, I would do that one first myself.
Robert's asking here, shouldn't the beneficiary of the Christian trust come before the first name, last name if real estate is sold? That's kind of a jumbled question.
No.
Yes, the bank account for the Christian trust, then go buy another house, cash.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't understand that question, but
No, 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 no. In this trust, right, a beneficiary only has rights if there are zero trustees. If there are zero, in other words,
right,
they sign themselves off as trustees or they die. There's the only methodology where a beneficiary, if named at all, would come into play, period, for
right,
any part of anything. No other consideration would ever be given to a beneficiary in any way, shape, or form. No rights, no thoughts, no nothing. Trustees have 100% do anything, 100% with no, just do things that are legal in the U.S. That's all. Okay, don't do illegal things. I mean, I say that, but that's it. So no, there are no limitations like that. That's just what would that be? Programming, mind control or whatever. But no, no limitations. What was the second part? Yeah. So, so you could go buy and sell anything. Oh, I'm going to go buy a car. Now I'm going to sell it. I get the money back from a trustee. Your trustee. What? Okay, went down,
right.
sold it. I did the transaction down the DMV. No, don't have it. And so the money goes into that account because it's like, oh, yeah, make a check out to, or oh, you get cash. But let's say, whatever. I need a cashier's check or I need Zelle. It goes into Cash App, whatever you get, PayPal. It's all goes into the trust account. That's it. That's how a transaction happens. I'm going to sell this. Okay, where does the money go? Not to a beneficiary. It goes into the trust account. That's it. There's nothing out. No, you're a trustee. You control everything 100%. No one else. And that's it. You're overcomplicated. But
Very good, very good.
I want you to not overcomplicate it. So if that was on your mind, I'm glad you brought it up because, like,
Yeah,
no. A lot of people that come into this are like, oh, they bring all their programming that they did to us. We're the victim of it. We're
yeah,
the victims of the crime here. Uh, and so that takes a while to pass away, especially people that do a business because you have to use so many tools and tricks to hide and do and blah blah blah. That's over. This is so your life. It's like, hey, breathe, open a window, breathe some air. Oh, I haven't breathed air in a decade. Yeah, it's so much easier to do this. You see, so it's an adjustment for people from your old wasteful method of time and money and all that stuff to do it. This is very simple. But the Illuminati, the ones who run everything, they're doing this and they're using a hidden super easy system.
yeah.
Think about them. They're lazy, okay? So we're just doing it the legal, lazy, their way. It's way easier in life, I'm telling you.
Do you need to get an EIN number to get your first name, last name trust? Um,
Absolutely.
can I answer that one?
Thanks. Yeah.
Yes, but let me tell you, if you get the program, I'll do my little spiel here. Get the program, right? Get the bundle. It's worth every penny. But read and follow the instructions, which are super simple. You can do it in a day if you focus, right? Write down your questions and then just go do the steps, right? So read it once and say, oh, I don't believe this. This can't be this easy, because you can just go through it and you go, it can't be that easy. And you're going to say, I have to do it this way. And I have to write all those down and then put it aside and then go back and read it and do the steps. And when you're done, it will be done. And then you can go into the classroom and ask your own questions and everything like that. But then you're going to be like, well, I have it all set up. It's that easy. Follow the instructions step by step and just do it. And then go to the classroom and ask all the questions you want, but you're going to have it set up. You print the paperwork, fill in the blanks, take it to the bank, go on the EIN site. It's all the links and everything is in there and save your questions for after it's done and just do it, because then you're going to go, wow, I'm set. And then you can start getting to work. I did it. For me, it was great. I had been watching the shows for a long time. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I got a big real estate check coming, and I want it to go into the trust. I don't want it to go into the bank where then I'm going to owe 30% of that check immediately. So I did it. It worked. It was great. The whole course paid for itself in the first week. So just do the paper, just buy the trust and do the paperwork, and then go into the classroom, because then you can go down the rabbit hole of the classroom for forever. It's a great place to get lost with ideas. But do you need an EIN number? Yes.
Yeah, that was a great account of what to do. Thank you for that tip. And when he says you fill in the blanks, you know what the blanks are? Your name
Right.
and your address.
Yeah.
The
And
rest
that's
is all filled in for you.
and
So.
that's what blows your mind. Like, it can't be this easy. It has to, there has to be more work to it, but it's not, because John has put, it's 12 pages. Is it 12 pages or is it more than that?
Something like that.
But there's a lot of details in there, all spelled out in exactly how it's supposed to be, and it answers every point that they're going to ask about what this trust does or is it for, and all this. And you can know and learn each one of those things after you put in your name, put in your address, and send it in. And you know, it works. We're sitting here. There's nobody knocking on my door coming to take me away. It's been years. John's been sitting there for 15 years. So it's not as hard as you think. And listen, if you think about it, you know, when they come walking in the room, the delivery room, and say, okay, we're going to fill out the birth certificate for you. Name, address, mom, dad. Okay, stamped, and off you go. And suddenly they know where to send your social security card and all the other stuff, because it's that easy. That's the way they want it. They want it simple. Just give us your information, and then we're going to start to tax you. Now you give them the information and you stop taxing me. It's the same way to get, it's as easy to get in it's as easy to get out as it was to get in.
So, wow, that's really, man, that's mind blowing how simply you put that, Tim.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
seriously, it is because they're using a trust. Okay, so I am too. Like you said, like I freely admit, I was like, "How are you doing this?" I'm an auditor. Like, if you could do it, I could do it. So, different God, not we, the devil. Okay, but okay, we can do this. That's all, and it is so simple. It's amazing though. They want you in easy at a
Yeah.
very vulnerable moment. You know, when you're having your baby, hey, everybody does this, so do it right. You're like, hey, easy over that.
Right.
But it works. It's so clever. So it must be. Oh, here's your little thing. Oh, see, that was painless. Here you go. It's just as Tim said, it's just as painless over here. All you do is fill your name and address, get your EIN, you're good to go everywhere. Why? They made it simple for them. For
Yeah.
them. Okay, maybe we were supposed to find out about it, but I did. So
Right.
they're like, okay, well, they do it at every bank and everywhere. It works internationally, works in Canada for anyone, works in USA for anyone. And then you could go abroad. Oh, yeah, hey, I'm using my trust. You know, you're using your Visa card, you're using your Amex or whatever, you're using your debit card, credit card. You're doing business all in the world. Like, it's just like your purse or whatever. It's the same thing. So, anyway, it is as easy for them to get you into the whole tax and we own you as a slave
Yeah.
thing. It's super easy to get out. We made this so simple. You know how we have 100+ testimony they left up? They probably took down 100. You know, there's not any testimonials anywhere on the entire internet of saying, you know, Liberty Aid Academy doesn't work. There's zero. Oh,
Yeah.
how is that from the people that will create space and we're fake going to the moon? They create fake reality and everything out there, and they haven't even bothered trying that nonsense. You know
Well,
what I mean? Like they haven't even bothered. It's
my
ridiculous.
my mother's old saying was, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. And you are the most imitated trust out there. And
It's
there's people copying your trust and putting it out there as their own, or or just being, we have members here that are out there promoting your trust because it works. So I mean, yeah, there's people, unscrupulous people out there just trying to say
Yeah.
it's their own or tweaking it their own way, but it doesn't matter. You're the one with the copyrights, and you did it first.
And
So
this is a great segue into the scrupulous people, because that's some people we're
yeah,
here with, right? Is the people that do good, that are like, okay, this guy that did it comes with this. We can ask him questions, from now till doomsday, and he comes with it. So that's valuable. Like,
yeah.
so they go, oh, okay. Oh, what else? What else I got to say? I was.
Hey, let me ask you this: how
I'm
many
sorry. Wait,
lawyers?
wait, wait. Sorry. You have all because I'm gonna lose this again. I want to segue into something we're doing at Liberty Aid Academy coming up in the future for the people that aren't stealing and stuff like that, that are trying to help people out there. Martin Gomez,
Right.
Jamie Bach, Dee Dee, come on, and Alan, like I could go on and on and on and on all the people that cared to take the time to do a testimonial out there helping people. We built the Trump Millionaire course for you people. Well, we're going to take it a step farther here. We're working on it currently now. And so any feedback you have now in the process and afterwards, we want it. Okay. Just like with the Trump Millionaire course, works great. We want to create, like in the Trump Millionaire course, it has, this is how Trump did it. This is how you gain wealth. This is how you do it using our methods at this school. Okay. We're going to change that course, or the information that works and everything, into a more generic something. So yeah, your feedback too, Tim, for the individual. Like, so you can put your own video in there. Hey, this is how I did it. This is how I built well. This is what worked for my family. So you can individualize it, still get, pay for it out there and stuff like that. But want to tailor it so it's something that anyone can make their own. So there's no Trumpness in it or political stuff like that. Just people who have, taken the time to make a testimonial and have done this and do this, just so it's specifically easy for them. Hey, this is how I did it, and all that's built in. So we're going to be working on that. So sorry to interrupt you there. It took
That's
me a
all right.
minute to get that in my head, but we're going to be working over that on the next couple months. We'll roll it out, and we want people's feedback, any of your thoughts, anything that comes up on your mind. It's something, a tool for you to get paid and make it easy for you to say, hey, people, this is how it's done. We want to make a tool to make it easy for you, okay, and to give you money, both. That's why we want your feedback. We're pretty good at this. It went okay in the Trump Millionaire course. We did make a good tool. We're going to improve that massively based on our experience of what people need out there and the feedback we've gotten. So look for that in feedback anytime. It's going to take us months to do this, of course, to get it right. So anything that comes up on anyone's mind, love the feedback. Thank you. I want to see if, because Tim's going to bump us here, he's going to move on to something else. So I'm going to get into all my little housekeeping business here.
I got 3 more things. Let's go through real quick,
Good,
and
good,
then you can do your
good.
announcements. But
I may not have
this one was up there. So we don't. Do you need bylaws and paperwork? That was part of the EIN to get your first name and last name.
Well, you need the trust
Paper.
paperwork that we have at the school. You do need that at an EIN. That's how you get a trust. So we have that. Of course, we have all those documents, instructions. We have everything you need. There's nothing you need outside of what we teach you. It is super simple. There's no catch.
Right.
No, and it works for everyone. Works for everyone in Canada. Works for everyone in the USA. No exceptions. No hooks. No but nothing like that.
It's complete. Anthony Adams in the house says, should I use a PMA in conjunction with the trust?
No, these are fairy tales out there with no proof, and oh my God, the views out there. Let's just say, look at the views I have. I did this for a decade and had more 13 years or something like that, and I had 5,000 viewers after like 13 years. I want to say 5,000 videos, maybe. I had 5,000 viewers after more proof than the entire human race put together on my channel. 5,000. Tammy found a hack to something like 20 or something like that. We're paying, 15 grand a month in advertising expenses. All right. And we're visible practically at those numbers. Okay. So if there's high views out there, one of two things, right? Some useless piece of trash they're just promoting out there and wasting your brain, or two, it's a government employee, period. There is no one else out there with a lot of views, period. And it's just, okay, this is how my funny dance, no one cares. It does, they'll steal that stuff and post that. No one cares, but if it's anything related to news or truth, that's a government employee. If they got high views, period. That's it. Go look at my views, go look at my proof, go look at them. Come on. That's reality. You have to accept that. That's the foundation of reality here in 1984 world. Okay? Accept it and go for proof. That's what we have. Proof. More than the rest of all the schools put together that exist under the dome, we have more proof than all of them put together. Go look. Okay? I've looked. I was shocked by that information. But you should look too. Okay. So I'm sorry. What else you got, Tim? Anything else? I think let me do a quick little.
It was just other, great comments, great content, and being a taxpayer is voluntary.
I was speaking of. I was memorialized. Okay, of Facebook, right? 2016, 2 months before I did this trust the first time. Okay, and I've been doing this work for 5 years, getting out of the debt for the bankers. I've been doing it for 5 years up to that. So it's like 50 years put together now. So, but memorialized means someone had to create a notarized death certificate of me. I told everybody I was dead on January 8th, 2016. Okay. Talk about freaking my girl out. She's like, but nothing happened to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're into the fear porn and be afraid and stuff like that. But here I am. What? Everybody's fine. Like, I didn't die. Like, I did get raised from the dead. Yeah. And okay, technically on paper I died on Facebook, but nothing happened. Nothing happened to anyone ever from doing this work. You either love your family or you don't. You either love yourself or you don't. Because look, go look for proof. We have proof. You're going to drastically lessen how much money you give the government and drastically increase how much money the government gives you. Why wouldn't you do that? Doesn't make any sense. You have to care for yourself and your family. That's all I'm giving you this information, Oh, I'm sorry. Tim's got a good point here.
I was putting up next show live 7 p.m. next week, and that's actually incorrect. We were talking about this before. There's going to be a special Thanksgiving recorded show for anybody who's got, what is that, turkey tryptophan coma going and wants to sit down in front of YouTube and watch
the good Troy Lions.
Yeah. Other than that, any final words?
Family first here at this school. Family first. Thanksgiving. That's why we're taking it off. Family first. I care. If you're family of what? I don't care about the government. Like, who's they're just, I don't care about none of that nonsense. I care about you and your family. I don't care about anything else. Go look at my proof. Okay. Get the trust. Change your life forever. Put money in your pocket, in your children's pocket, your grandchildren's pocket. Come on. We're here for you. Okay. Please. See you in 2 weeks.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.